Welcome, truth seekers, to another mind-bending episode of Conspiracy Tapes, brought to you by Skoob. I'm your host, Ryan Martin, and today we're diving deep into the shadows of our closest celestial neighbor, the Moon. We're about to embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about that glowing orb in the night sky. For centuries, the Moon has fascinated humanity, inspiring myths, scientific inquiry, and a whole lot of speculation. But beyond the silver glow and craters lies a world of secrets, mysteries, and conspiracies that refuse to be silenced. In today's episode, we'll explore 4 captivating segments that peel back the lunar veil. First, the Great Moon Hoax, a sensational 19th century story that ignited a lasting obsession with lunar mysteries. Next, we'll delve into the persistent and controversial claims of NASA cover-ups, questioning what the space agency might be hiding about the Moon's true nature. Then, we'll investigate the strange and unexplained blinking lights observed on the lunar surface, phenomena that have puzzled astronomers for centuries. And finally, we'll wrap up with the most mind-boggling theory of all: the idea that the Moon itself could be an ancient alien spacecraft. So, buckle up, truth seekers, as we take a trip to the dark side of lunar conspiracy theories. Because once you see the Moon through this lens, you'll never look up at the night sky the same way again. Let's start our journey in 1835, in the bustling newsrooms of New York City. The New York Sun was about to publish what would become one of the most successful media hoaxes in history. A story so captivating that it would ignite humanity's fascination with lunar mysteries for generations to come. Picture this: English astronomer John Herschel, working with his magnificent telescope at the Cape of Good Hope, equipped with a mirror 24 feet in length and magnification capabilities of 42,000 times. This wasn't fiction. Herschel was indeed there. But what the Sun claimed he discovered? Well, that's where reality took a fascinating detour into the realm of imagination. On August 26, 1835, readers were transported to an extraordinary lunar landscape. The fictional Dr. Andrew Grant, supposedly Herschel's recorder, announced that their powerful magnifiers had revealed something unprecedented: conscious life on the Moon. They described discovering a unique bison-like creature with an unusual fleshy appendage over its eyes, a natural mechanism, they claimed, to shield lunar animals from extreme light variations. But the real sensation came on August 28th. The Sun described lunar inhabitants that would capture the world's imagination. Creatures averaging 4 feet tall, covered in short, copper-colored hair, with faces resembling an improved version of orangutans, but with notably wider foreheads and expressions of remarkable intelligence. Most extraordinarily, these beings possessed wings composed of hairless membranes. These man-bats, scientifically dubbed Vespertilio homo, were observed engaging in what appeared to be sophisticated conversations, using expressive hand and arm gestures that suggested not just intelligence but genuine sapience. The observers inferred their capacity for art and complex reasoning, describing them as rational beings living in apparent harmony. The saga continued with descriptions of lunar oceans, grandiose temples, and by August 31st even more advanced creatures, batmen of unparalleled beauty, compared to angelic figures from Renaissance paintings. The American public was absolutely captivated. The reaction was extraordinary. The Mercantile Advertiser claimed the report showed authentic evidence. The Daily Advertiser praised Herschel's supposed contributions as immortalizing achievements. Even the New York Times concurred with the probability of these discoveries, while the New Yorker hailed them as pioneering a new era in astronomy. But here's where it gets really interesting. The social commentary embedded in this hoax revealed the anxieties of the era. Some religious leaders crafted sermons about these discoveries, and one American clergyman even suggested raising funds to supply Bibles to the extraterrestrial bat people, presumed to be heathens. Following Britain's Slavery Abolition Act of 1833, it was even proposed that English philanthropists should assess the moon's societal conditions, including whether slavery existed among its inhabitants. Even the educated elite fell for it. At Yale University, fervent supporters eagerly awaited new revelations via the New York Mail. Edgar Allan Poe noted the widespread public credulity, observing that even educated individuals took the news seriously, despite lacking clear rationale for their belief. What's truly fascinating is how this hoax tapped into humanity's deepest desires to find life beyond Earth, to discover that we're not alone in the universe. The Great Moon Hoax of 1835 wasn't just a newspaper stunt. It was the birth of modern lunar conspiracy theories, setting a pattern of public fascination that continues today. Now, let's fast forward over a century to examine claims that make the 1835 hoax look tame by comparison. We're entering the realm of alleged NASA cover-ups, ancient alien bases, and secrets so profound they could revolutionize our understanding of Earth's history. Richard C. Hoagland, a former NASA employee turned whistleblower, has made some extraordinary accusations. According to Hoagland, NASA has been orchestrating a massive cover-up regarding the discovery of ancient ruins and artifacts on the moon. He claims to have uncovered a 1960 report commissioned by NASA from the Brookings Institution, which allegedly advised that any evidence of extraterrestrial life on the moon should be concealed from the public to maintain social stability. Think about that for a moment. If true, it suggests that NASA, from its very early days, was prepared to hide potentially the most significant discovery in human history to prevent societal upheaval. But Hoagland isn't alone in these claims. The renowned astronomer Carl Sagan once hypothesized that any extraterrestrial civilizations interested in studying Earth might establish bases on the moon. Sagan suggested it would be strategically logical for these aliens to position their primary establishments on the far side of the moon, hidden from human observation. The timeline of mysterious lunar observations is extensive and compelling. As early as 1912, an English astronomer reported sighting an immensely black object on the moon, measuring roughly 250 miles in length and 150 miles in width. He speculated this might be the shadow of an enormous entity hovering above the lunar surface. During a lunar eclipse that same year, French and British astronomers claimed to witness what appeared to be a superb rocket launched from the moon. But perhaps the most intriguing claims come from alleged former U.S. Air Force personnel, who, speaking only under conditions of complete anonymity, assert that in 1970, both the United States and Soviet Union established hidden lunar colonies. Even more remarkably, they claim these missions discovered an alien base on the moon's far side. This leads us to consider whether the space race was really about national prestige, or whether both superpowers were actually responding to knowledge of alien presence on the moon. Were the Apollo missions genuine scientific endeavors, or were they reconnaissance missions to assess an extraterrestrial threat? The Russian angle adds another layer of complexity. Some theories suggest it's not extraterrestrial beings, but the Russians who have been secretly exploiting the moon's resources for decades. This would explain certain anomalous observations while keeping the conspiracy firmly within human capabilities. What makes these theories particularly compelling is how they weave together historical observations with geopolitical realities. The secrecy surrounding military space programs, the classified nature of many lunar mission details, and the sudden abandonment of manned moon missions after Apollo 17 all provide fertile ground for speculation. Whether you believe these claims or not, they raise profound questions about transparency in space exploration and what information governments might consider too dangerous for public consumption. After all, if extraterrestrial intelligence has established a presence on our nearest celestial neighbor, wouldn't that fundamentally change humanity's understanding of our place in the universe? Let's now examine one of the most persistent and well-documented lunar mysteries, the strange lights that have been blinking on the moon's surface for over 2 centuries. What makes this phenomenon so intriguing is that it's not based on modern conspiracy theories or internet speculation. These observations come from credible astronomers using the most advanced equipment of their times. Our story begins on September 7, 1820, when French astronomers documented peculiar objects during a lunar eclipse. These weren't random lights. They were observed moving with remarkable precision away from the moon's surface, as if following some predetermined flight pattern. Nearly half a century later, on August 7, 1869, similar objects were observed during a solar eclipse, when the sun's intense glare was momentarily blocked, allowing for clearer observation. The precision of these movements was what caught astronomers' attention. Random meteorites or space debris don't move in formation. These objects appeared to be under some form of intelligent control. In 1874, a Czechoslovakian astronomer recorded witnessing a brilliantly bright object that crossed the moon's face and then departed into space. This wasn't a brief flash or momentary glint. It was a sustained observation of something traversing lunar space with apparent purpose. But it's the blinking lights that have generated the most speculation. 2 lunar locations have become focal points for these mysterious phenomena: Aristarchus crater, known as the brightest spot on the moon, and Plato crater, notably the darkest spot. Ever since Galileo first observed Aristarchus through his telescope in 1610, astronomers have documented various flares and lights emanating from this location. What's particularly fascinating about Plato crater is the geometric nature of the light displays reported there. Observers have documented lights appearing in triangular formations, grid patterns, and other geometric arrangements that seem far too organized to be natural phenomena. On October 20, 1824, European astronomers detected sporadic flashes throughout the night from a shadowy region near Aristarchus. These weren't brief, random flickers. They continued for hours, suggesting some ongoing activity or process. Perhaps most intriguingly, on July 4, 1832, astronomer Thomas W. Webb recorded a series of flashing lights that bore an uncanny resemblance to Morse code, dots and dashes in systematic patterns. Remember, this was 1832, decades before Morse code was even invented for telegraph communication. Yet Webb was observing what appeared to be coded signals coming from the moon. The scientific community took these observations seriously. In 1873, after conducting an exhaustive study of these blinking lunar lights, Britain's Royal Astronomical Society reached a remarkable conclusion. They theorized that these coded signals represented intelligent attempts by an unknown lunar civilization to communicate with Earth. Think about the implications of that statement. One of the world's most prestigious scientific institutions was essentially saying that an intelligent species on the moon was trying to communicate with us. The pattern of these observations is also significant. The blinking lights frequently occur in the moon's northern hemisphere, leading some UFO investigators to theorize that extraterrestrial engineers have found that region particularly favorable for expansion. This isn't random distribution. There's a geographic concentration that suggests purpose. Adding a human element to the mystery, some theories propose that these lights aren't extraterrestrial at all, but evidence of secret human activity. Claims from supposed U.S. Air Force veterans suggest that both American and Soviet powers may have established clandestine lunar installations, which could explain some of the observed phenomena. The consistency of these reports across different centuries, different countries, and different observers suggests we're dealing with a genuine phenomenon. Whether the source is extraterrestrial, human, or something else entirely, the evidence indicates that the moon may not be the dead, inactive world we've been taught to believe it is. What's particularly compelling is how these historical observations align with more recent claims about lunar activity. The pattern of mysterious lights, geometric formations, and apparent intelligence behind the phenomena has remained remarkably consistent from the 1600s to the present day. Now we arrive at perhaps the most mind-bending theory of all, the possibility that the moon itself is not a natural celestial body, but an enormous alien spacecraft that has been positioned in Earth's orbit for reasons we can only guess at. This isn't science fiction, it's a serious hypothesis proposed by scientists and supported by an array of puzzling lunar characteristics that conventional theories struggle to explain. In July 1970, two Russian scientists, Michael Vassin and Alexander Shcherbakov, published a groundbreaking article titled, "Is the Moon the Creation of Alien Intelligence?" in the Soviet journal Sputnik. Their radical proposition was that the moon began as a planetoid that was deliberately hollowed out by intelligent beings, using technology far beyond our current capabilities. According to their theory, enormous machines were employed to melt rock and carve out vast cavities within the moon. The melted debris was then ejected onto the surface, creating the lunar landscape we observe today. This theoretical spacecraft was fortified with an inner hull-like shell and an outer shell reconstructed from metallic rock debris. Once transformed, it was navigated through space and placed into orbit around Earth. Initially dismissed as too far-fetched, the theory gained renewed attention in 1975 with Don Wilson's book, Our Mysterious Spaceship Moon. Wilson, initially skeptical, became a convert after examining data from the Apollo missions. He argued that scientists were uncovering bewildering and inexplicable details about the moon that suggested it might not be entirely natural. What makes this theory so compelling is how it addresses numerous lunar mysteries that have puzzled scientists for decades. Let's examine the evidence. First, there's the age anomaly. Moon rocks appear to be much older than Earth, and in some cases, older than any known celestial bodies in our solar system. If the moon were an artificial construct that traveled through space before arriving at Earth, this would explain its ancient composition. Then there's the density puzzle. The moon has 3 distinct layers, with the densest components located in the outermost layer, the exact opposite of what we'd expect from a naturally formed body. This configuration perfectly resembles a spacecraft's hull structure, as if the moon were built from the outside in. The absence of surface water, despite indications of water existing deep within the moon, also fits the artificial satellite hypothesis. If the moon were hollowed out, surface water would have been lost during the construction process, while internal water might remain in protected chambers. One of the most intriguing pieces of evidence is how moon rocks exhibit magnetism, despite the moon having no significant magnetic field. If the moon traveled through space past various planets and stars, it would have been magnetized during its journey, exactly what we observe. The strange Maria, or lunar seas, could be explained as dumping grounds for molten material expelled during the moon's internal hollowing process. And those mysterious mascons, dense masses located just beneath the center of each Maria, might be remnants of the massive equipment used to hollow out the moon. But perhaps the most compelling evidence is the moon's acoustic properties. When Apollo missions crashed equipment into the moon's surface, seismic equipment detected vibrations that lasted for hours, causing the moon to ring like a bell. This behavior is exactly what we'd expect from a hollow structure, not a solid celestial body. The theory also explains the periodic, rhythmic moonquakes as artificial reactions to Earth's gravitational pull, and the observed gas clouds as evidence of artificial machinery operating beneath the lunar surface. Think about the Moon's remarkable orbital characteristics. It's positioned at precisely the right distance and angle to create perfect solar eclipses, a coincidence so extraordinary that it has puzzled astronomers for generations. If the Moon were artificially positioned, this coincidence becomes intentional design. The spaceship moon theory even addresses the ongoing scientific debate between hot moon and cold moon formation theories. If the Moon existed initially as a cold, solid body and was then artificially heated and transformed into a spacecraft, both theories could be correct for different phases of the Moon's history. Some of the most exotic elements found in moon rocks, titanium, chromium, zirconium, uranium-236, and neptunium-237, are exactly the kinds of materials an advanced civilization might use for spacecraft construction. These aren't elements you'd expect to find in abundance on a naturally formed satellite. The theory raises profound questions about the Moon's purpose. The lab hypothesis, closely related to the zoo hypothesis, suggests that an alien civilization might be conducting experiments on humanity and life on Earth. If the Moon is indeed an observation post, it would be perfectly positioned for such a purpose. Intriguingly, there are ancient human texts and oral traditions that describe a time before the Moon appeared in our sky. If these accounts have any basis in historical fact, they would suggest that the Moon is a relatively recent arrival in Earth's orbit, consistent with the artificial satellite theory. The implications are staggering. If the Moon is an alien spacecraft, it means we've been under observation for millennia. Every human civilization, every historical event, every step in our development has potentially been monitored by an intelligence so advanced that they can disguise a spacecraft as a natural satellite. As we reach the end of our journey through lunar conspiracy theories, we're left with more questions than answers. From the Great Moon Hoax of 1835 that first captured humanity's imagination, to modern theories suggesting our celestial companion might be an alien observation post, the Moon continues to be a source of mystery and speculation. What's particularly fascinating is how these theories have evolved and interconnected over nearly 2 centuries. The pattern began with the 1835 hoax, which tapped into humanity's deep desire to find life beyond Earth. This was followed by documented astronomical observations of unexplained phenomena, leading to institutional speculation about lunar intelligence. The space age brought new theories about cover-ups and secret bases, while modern analysis of lunar characteristics has given rise to the most extraordinary theory of all, that the Moon itself might be artificial. The persistence of these theories isn't just about conspiracy thinking. It reflects something deeper about human nature. Our recognition that the Moon is genuinely anomalous in ways that conventional explanations struggle to address. Whether it's the acoustic properties that make it ring like a bell, the backwards density structure, the remarkable orbital coincidences, or the centuries of unexplained light phenomena, the Moon presents us with legitimate mysteries. Perhaps the most important takeaway isn't whether any of these theories are true, but what they reveal about the limitations of our current understanding. Science works by constantly questioning and re-examining our assumptions. These lunar mysteries remind us that even our nearest celestial neighbor may still hold secrets that challenge our fundamental beliefs about our place in the universe. The next time you look up at the Moon, consider the possibilities. Is it the dead, inactive world we've been taught to believe? A secret base for extraterrestrial observers? An ancient spacecraft positioned to monitor human civilization? Or something else entirely that we haven't even imagined yet? The truth, as they say, is out there, and it might be a lot closer than we think. That's all for today's exploration of the moon's mysteries. If you want to know more about lunar mysteries, NASA secrets, and other cosmic conspiracies, download the Skoob app on the App Store or Google Play to unlock the full experience. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the shadows of our celestial neighbor. Remember to question everything, look beyond the surface, and always keep one eye on the dark side of the moon. Until next time, I'm your host, Ryan Martin, and this has been Conspiracy Tapes by Skoob. Keep your eyes to the sky and watch out for the unknown.